The uncanny echo. The air in the house didn't just feel cold, it felt thick. My brother was sitting at the dining table, chewing his food just a second too slow. My mother was staring at a blank TV screen, humming a tune that had no melody. They looked like my family, but they were off, like actors who had forgotten their lines but were determined to keep performing. I stood in the doorway, the silence roaring in my ears. I tried to speak, to ask if they felt the heaviness, but the words died in my throat. How do you explain to people who think the world is normal that the walls are growing teeth? My mind, usually wired to track variables and build logic out of chaos, was entirely failing me. If I tried to explain this to my friends, they wouldn't understand. They'd tell me it was just burnout, a glitch in my overworked brain. They wouldn't see the way the shadows were curdling in the corners of the room. The internal war. Then, it came for me. A pale, spectral hand, severed at the wrist and translucent as smoke, lunged from the shadows of the hallway. It clawed at my chest, trying to sink into my skin, to find a vein, to take me over. But it recoiled. It hissed in a voice that sounded like grinding glass. I was already occupied. I felt a cold pressure behind my eyes. Something else was already coiled inside my ribcage, a shadow that had claimed me first. I didn't know if it was good, or if I was just a broken vessel that had let something else leak in long ago. But it was territorial. It wouldn't let the hand in. The denial drove the hand into a violent frenzy. It thrashed against the hallway walls, radiating a high-pitched, pissed-off agitation. It had found the perfect host, only to be locked out. It vanished into the floorboards, leaving behind a lingering sense of furious, starving malice. The thread of corruption. The hand had been violently expelled, but its attempted breach wasn't without consequence. The sheer force of it trying to tear its way into my body had left a sickening residue behind. The pressure moved to my face. My sinuses burned. I reached up to my nose and felt something snag. I grabbed it, a thick, wet gray thread, like a heavy cord of phlegm and static. I pulled, it kept coming, inches turned into feet. As I dragged this spirit cuff out of my own skull, I stumbled toward the bathroom mirror. The sight was horrific. Thick, dark blood was pouring from my nostrils, staining my teeth and chin. My reflection looked like a stranger losing his grip on his own biology. I was literally pulling out the physical infection the hand had left behind in its desperate, failed attempt to take me over. The assembly of the Great One. As the thread fell into the sink, the truth hit me. A telepathic realization shared by the entity inside me. The house wasn't just haunted, it was a factory for a god. A massive, ancient evil had been shattered into pieces, and it was using my family as the assembly line. The hand was hunting for a vessel to strike. The leg was looking for a way to walk the earth. The eye was searching for a way to see our world. The brain, the most powerful piece. It was the conductor, the single source of truth hidden somewhere in the walls, waiting to signal the merge. Once each family member was hollowed out and claimed by a limb, they would all walk into the center of the hall. Their bodies would tear apart and fuse together into a single, towering nightmare. The unwilling hero. I stood in the bathroom, dripping blood, terrified and trembling. I wasn't a warrior. I was just a man with a piece of a ghost stuck in his nose. But I was the only one who could feel the static. I was the only one the pieces couldn't fully inhabit because I was already a broken vessel. I looked at the closed bathroom door. Outside, my family was being systematically erased. If I didn't find the brain before the others found their hosts, my family wouldn't just be dead. They would be the clay used to build a monster that would end everything.